Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Deconversion Stories. And today I have the absolute pleasure of chatting with my new friend, the Robo Strange, who has a channel on YouTube. Well, a couple that you're involved with, anyways. One is called I Freaking Love Comics, as you can see is the background here. And that's him right there, actually, in comic book form, right there. And his other co-hosts are, well, you can't really see. Oh, damn it. Now her name fell out of my head.
Ree is right here.
Ree is right, yeah, in the middle there, kind of.
Judah Red, there we go. Judah Red.
Yeah, kind of like cable going on there.
Yeah, Ree, she's in the chat right now. What's up, Ree?
Oh, well, I apologize. I completely see. I'm old, so sometimes my brain just goes, and that's it. Right, I'm done.
Same.
Mikey approves. Yes, and my wonderful producer Mikey is in the background. He will be joining us for the last 15 minutes or so of this show because I'm sure he'll have questions. I'm sure. Holy shit, Miracle Man's in the chat.
Yep, Miracle Man's in the chat.
Holy shit.
I see my wife in there. Hello, Mylene.
Oh wow, look at this.
Got some support. I told him I was a little nervous because I during the last couple times couple years we've been doing this, I'm always like on your side. So I'm like, we'll see how it goes on this side. Yeah.
No, this time it's my turn.
That's right.
Sorry. My villainous laugh there. Anyways, but let's get into it because what I do here on the show is I talk to people about how and why they left their beliefs behind. Because let's face it, we're all born into some form of a belief. Well, not all of us, but many of us are. And we get indoctrinated and we're told this shit by people we trust. But ultimately we find out, oh, there's the first hashtag coins right there.
I made it.
Ultimately, we find out in our own time that this stuff really is not true. Like, what the hell? Why is everyone lying to me? But anyways, I like to hear the journey that people have out of their former beliefs. So why don't you kind of take us on that story right now, Robo? And then, towards the end of this, we'll get into the comics and all the good pulp culture kind of shit. So
sounds good. Okay. So I don't know how unique my story actually is. I feel it's unique because
they're all important.
Most of the atheists I talk to, like my buddy Judah, my buddy Ree, and then all of the YouTubers that have influenced me, seem like most atheists who are like really into it have been atheists a long time. And to really start it off, I would say that my actual deprogramming, like the start of, okay, I'm an atheist and now I go forward, was actually like 2017. So I'm like a baby atheist.
Pretty fresh.
Yeah. So starts way back. I'm born 1980, and I'm born into what I consider a cult, right? So I know we throw that word around a lot, where all religion is a cult and whatnot, and I guess it's debatable one way or another.
Sure.
But in every instance of the word, this one's a cult. Had some weird racist stuff in the 70s. Some you had to keep.
Hold it, Mormon?
No, it's a little known church, unless you lived in Pasadena, California. And it was called the Worldwide Church of God. If anybody wants to Google it, some crazy stuff.
I've heard of it.
Really? Yeah. So Worldwide Church of God, Herbert W. Armstrong, we were in that church. Really just wild stuff. White, if you were white, you went to like the upper tiers of heaven. Because you were part of the actual tribe. And then everyone else can still get to heaven.
Jesus was white.
Right. Well, they believed that. And
fuck me.
and even if you weren't right, like yours truly, you can still get to heaven. You just won't be in like the top ranks, but that's better than hell, right? So my family was in that.
Better than hell.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. If you think about it, there's lots of scientists in hell, I bet. And they figured out air conditioning down there by now. They must
guaranteed. And I mean, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Like I'm definitely going to hell. I'm all right with that. But
well, that music that you heard in the opening, that's me.
Yeah, really.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive. You and my co-host Judah Rad would definitely get along. He plays guitar and is into all that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm just the singer.
Oh, okay. That's dope. So I go on. I would say still like strongly in the church, very, I would say fundamental. So it comes out of that whole culty kind of ish stuff with in 93, 94, 95 as we start going more mainstream, but still definitely fundamental. I would join the military in 99, and I would remain Christian, like I said, all the way up until about 2007 or so. I thought I was going to be in the chaplaincy.
Wow.
I was like in my mid-20s was there was this situation, the story I always tell. And it's why it makes me laugh when people are like, you weren't a real Christian then. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Because in 2004, 2005, I was deployed into Saudi Arabia or Qatar, one of those two countries. And I was on post with a host nation guy, and it was during Ramadan. And we're on post every day, and you're out there in the middle. I was on the perimeter, and it's super boring. Like no war or anything like that. And he's just talking to me, and he's giving me some pamphlets, and he's proselytizing for Islam. And I'm like, sure, yeah, I'll read it. Like, I'm Christian, but sure, what? And I'm like, oh wow, they believe in Jesus too. And then I'm like, what if I'm wrong? And what's funny is that's really when people ask like, what was the start? Even though it's gonna not sound like it when I tell you what happens next, that really was like it. Like my brain's like, what if I'm wrong? And I go to my tent, I'm reading this stuff, and I'm like, what am I doing? Oh God in heaven, I'm so sorry. I'm such a bad person. I'm a 25-year-old military guy in my tent, deployed, on my knees, crying on the edge of my bed. I guarantee the people around me are like, if they're anything like I am now, they're like, this guy is not well. And I'm crying.
Let me just excuse myself.
Yeah, I'm like, Robo's crying. But that event, like, I went like all in, right? I don't have enough faith to be an atheist, God language, like all these books I'm into, and I'm going to church, and I'm trying to, I want to join the chaplaincy. I'm going to get a degree in theology. And it really kind of went like that for the next, what I say, in 2005, so almost 10 years or so. Then, around 2014, 2015, kind of like politically, I started changing. I'm getting super disillusioned with because at the time I was pretty right wing. I don't know. Are you guys all right with talking politics in this channel? Or
sure. Yep.
Right. So if we're throwing labels around, I would say today I'm a leftist, right? So
we always talk about the two things that they never want you to talk about at the dinner table: religion and politics.
Good. I just don't want to make any assumptions. But yeah, but that journey starts. If this were a political channel, that story would start around 2014, 2015, for obvious reasons. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. This is like, what is going on here? And that kind of breaks down. I'm seeing people who I used to go to church with, family members who were like devout Christians, espousing some really, really fucked up ideas. And I'm like, what is up? Let me rewind a little bit. At this point, I'm already like rejecting the Bible as literal. I'm already rejecting the creation story.
Did you believe it was real at one time?
Yeah, like when I was a kid in my early 20s, in that whole 25-year-old deal. But now I'm like 30, 35, 36. By this point, I've already rejected that the Bible's literal. But God is real. Jesus is my Lord and Savior. Right. My mom is super mad at that. Just at that. I'm like, Mom, listen, how many Midwest church, towns where 100% of the churches are praying for these soldiers and they don't come home? What are you telling me? Are you telling me that they didn't pray hard enough? Like what, So right. At this point, I've rejected the power of prayer. I've then moved to prayer is a relationship, but it doesn't, what's going to happen is going to happen. Right. I've rejected that the Bible's literal because the story of creation is silly. So everything's starting to crumble, and it's kind of crumbled around God is real and Jesus is my Lord and Savior.
Right. You just dropped all the religion part of it. You just had your belief in a deity and his son.
And so I started saying that thing that people say right around this point. I'm spiritual. I'm not religious.
Yeah.
Right. Which is just a cop out.
Like whatever that means.
Right. Yeah. It's a cop out. And I remember 2016, me and Judah Rad are at our unit and we're talking outside, and he's a lifelong atheist. So I realized that there is a much different kind of conversation with somebody who's never been raised any sort of like dogmatic faith or anything like that, and somebody who's at least part of their life they have, and somebody who's never. And this, it actually meant a lot to me, was like, it was like as if I was trying to convince somebody the Greek myths were true. Like, it was like, yeah, okay, dude. And I'm like, no, but you don't understand. Like, yeah, I get it. The Bible's mostly fake and written by man, right? All these little rationalizations. And it's like, but I mean, Jesus is real, historical facts. And I start like Matt Dillahunty, Tracy Harris, John. I'm watching these now, right? And I'm like, Jesus might not even been real. Like, wait a minute, there's no proof of Jewish massive Hebrew slaves. Like, nope. I'm like, oh, this is not. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm like, and then I started getting these things like, well, do you believe in ghosts? And do you believe in this? And you know, falsifiability. And why do you believe things that are not falsifiable? And then, you know, the teacup thing, the teacup analogy. And I'm just like, eventually, like this explosion in my brain. And I was a I hate to use this term, but closeted atheist, as a lot of atheists say, because my family was just like, would not be okay with that. And then what I did is, you know, Aaron Raw, genetically modified skeptic, all these people, I'm just like diving in and I'm just absorbing all this stuff.
Good friends of mine, by the way.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Like that, it would just like every day on the way to work, on the way home from work, you know, like my wife was like, is that all you're going to watch? I'm like, for now, yes.
Yep.
Because for 37 years, I couldn't, you wouldn't, you're programmed to where it just doesn't, if you watch that and the second you feel like they're making sense, that is Satan talking to you. That is Satan in your heart, right? And so like it's the programming is so.
How do you get out of there?
Yeah. But you know, now here I am, and it's really strange to think about whether it was my right-wing days or my devout Christianity days. It seems like
they go hand in hand a lot.
Yeah.
By the way, they do go hand in hand. You'll find that a lot of hardcore Republican right-wingers are also, because, you know, there are atheists on the right as well, but many of them are religious.
Yeah, I just got into an argument with somebody where it was what did they share? They shared a meme, and it was something along the lines of I just drank. Well, drink again. Hell yeah.
It's all right, Mikey's on it.
But it was like Christians want to build churches, atheists want to build schools, or you know, something along those lines. Hospitals. That's what it was. Hospitals. And it was like there was like this thing where it was like Christians, you know, insert dogmatic, you know, religious thing here. Atheists insert this really good character thing, and I'm like, this is kind of dumb. This is really self-flating, I guess. I'm like, well, like the only thing that the atheists have in common, literally the only thing, is not believing in a God. Period. Dot. You could be a serial killer, the worst person on the earth. If you don't believe in God, you're
still an atheist. You're just a douchebag atheist.
Yeah, exactly. You know.
Thank you very much, Malin.
Oh, wow. Look at that. She's giving our money away.
It's only 99 cents. That's all right.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'll get some of them 99-cent McNuggets or something there.
I can't wait till I freaking love comics gets to there. We got to get some super chats going.
Yeah. Well, you guys are past 500 subs. That's not bad. Well, that's a new one. Balling. I like it.
Yeah, we started that was a pandemic project, so we just kept it going after. So
Nice.
Yeah. So that's my story.
So okay, but I have questions. I have questions, Robo.
Let's go. Let's get it.
What was like the first thing that kind of made you think about whether or not any of this is true? Like, what was the first thing that was like the little nutcracker that sort of started everything rolling?
Yeah. I would say the power of prayer.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. When I was, oh man, my mom would kill me. I think I'm 12 when my sister's born trisomy 18. And they gave her the option to terminate the pregnancy early. They did the test because it wasn't growing correctly. And my mom was like, I'm gonna have the baby anyway. Abortion's bad. God will heal her if he wants to. Okay. Now,
there's always that caveat, if
right.
he wants
to. If he wants to, it's so convenient. So pause. Were you ever Christian?
I was born to a Christian couple.
Okay.
Conceived in the backseat of a '57 Chevy Bel Air hardtop two-door, by the way.
Hell yeah.
And
you started life as a rock star. That's awesome.
yeah. There's a weird connection because the dad I had growing up was saving me the exact same car for my first car. Unfortunately, he had to sell it because they moved out of Florida. But yeah, so that was kind of a weird little synchronicity thing. But I did meet my biological folks. They ended up getting married, and they had a couple more girls. I was the first. But anyway, I was born to Christians and then raised Jewish.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, well, geez, if Christianity is the right way to go, then why the hell would God do that? Why would he give me to Jewish people?
Right.
And I thought, well, maybe it's because they're the chosen people.
Yeah. Hey, I don't want to assume
Jesus was a Jew.
Hey, I don't want to assume you were kidding. Your pronouns?
My pronouns?
Yep.
Oh, I'm he, him. Yeah.
Okay. You said I was the first of girls. I was like, wait a minute. Did I just?
Oh no, I was the first, and then two girls.
Oh, okay. You said they had two girls. I was the first of them. I'm like, I think I've been.
Oh no. Yeah, I can see how you got confused.
So the reason why I asked that question about if you were Christian was so what's big in Christianity, especially fundamental Christianity, is the idea of gifts, which now I would just equate to superpowers, right? So each Christian is given their own little superpower, and in some churches they believe in the gift of tongues, and they can never falsify that, of course.
You can't be poisoned by snakes.
Mine, by my pastor uncle, by my mom, was the gift of prayer. Now, here's what's funny about this. I love my mom. Me and my parents have a great relationship. They know I'm an atheist now, but our relationship is great. They give little jabs sometimes. They're like, "Well, I'm going to pray for you," and I'm like, "I get it." But
I'll talk to my cat for you.
Yeah, that's right. But and I have to say that at first because what they did, my mother specifically, it's going to sound pretty messed up, but I believe it was in the best. They had the best interest in mind. When I would pray for something, my mom and my family would make sure that I got it. Like, wow. I would pray super hard for a bike, I would get a bike. I would pray super hard for the NES that would come out, and we went to this Feast of Tabernacle thing in Daytona Beach, and the family got together because my dad was in the Marines, but he was like E3, E4, so we didn't have a lot of money, and they made sure I got an NES. So I was raised thinking that I had this special power, the gift of prayer. My sister now is born. Faith can move mountains, faith of a mustard seed, asking you shall receive, the whole 9 yards. I'm good. Everyone else, she only survives around 2 months. Right? So she's a baby. I babysat her, I lived with her, and I don't cry. I don't care that she's disabled because I know God is going to heal her. And so in the nights that she is getting, hospice is there, everything's failing as they knew the doctors knew it would.
Right.
She's going to pass, and she gave her final breaths, and I was there on my mom's chest. And the days leading up and the hours leading up to it, I was just like on my knees praying nonstop, praying. And I'm like, God, blah, 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 right? Faith in mystery, I know. And I don't want to cry. I don't want to be sad because I don't want to appear as if I don't have faith. So I force myself, nope, don't be sad. Because if you're sad, you think that she's going to die. She's not going to die. I have faith.
Right.
Of course she dies. And I really think that is the beginning. Of course, I already told my story about how I was going to become a pastor at 25. You know, I'm 12 here. So I found a way to rationalize it, and they do. They that you don't know God's plan, and you can't know what God's thinking and the mysteries and yada yada yada. And I'm like, okay, you're fine, but I'm like, yeah, but that I guess prayer doesn't really work like that. And then I do the whole like, well, Jesus was tempted, and you don't test God like that, so blah blah blah. And it's like, the longer that held with me, I was just kind of like, this is dumb. And now I'm like super. When I see like prosperity gospel, when I see people praying like super hard for their loved ones, when I hear that, you know what I mean, like people talk about COVID and they say, well, I have God in my heart and I know I'm gonna be fine. It's like, to people who've been atheists their whole life, it's super easy for them to point, laugh, you're nuts, right? But for me, that is so fucking tragic because I know, because I was there, I know that they believe in their heart of hearts that a religious phrase, by the way, still sticks with me, that they are going to be healed, that they will be protected, and that's not a crazy idea to them. So yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm sorry about your sister and all that, about all that happening.
Yeah, so.
And also, thank you, Ree, for the $2 Australian dollars.
Yeah, I don't know. I think $2 Australian is like hundreds of US dollars.
Well, I have Canadian dollars, and like literally like $5 Canadian or American is like $1,000 billion in Canada.
That's right. No, that's actually. I'm surprised you did that math and you had that fast. That was good.
Well, I have pretty good brain. I'm a chemist. I can think quick.
Nice.
Yeah. Mikey approves. No, Art to Andal, I'm not about to explode. Okay, the blinking lights is because it's Bluetooth. So
there you go.
Which crapped out on my computer. I had to do a soft boot, like a safe boot, and reinitialize everything. It worked. So
that's why I'm here. I keep I started off with those Bluetooth, but every now and then gremlins would come in, and I'm just like, I literally Googled. I'm not a fan. But I Googled what headset. This is exactly what I Googled. What headset does Joe Rogan wear? And I'm like, it came up. I'm like, I'll buy those. They must be great. And these are those. And yeah, I can't. Everyone's like, yeah, just get the. I've never had any problems. Blah 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 blah. But I'm like, I can't. I gotta go corded because I can't handle stress in the middle of my stream.
Yeah, I've never had it happen before, and it wasn't these that did it. It was the computer. It stopped working, so I had to do the soft boot to get it to work again. Right. So
got it. Aussie. Oi.
Yeah, what was that? That was fucking the Man Show back in the day.
Is that what they did?
Yeah, they did that. Yeah.
I thought it was just an Aussie thing. Bree, are you promoting?
It is.
There's no reason to point and laugh at the believer using the blood Jesus to keep them safe from COVID. In fact, something makes me angry, sick, and enraged. It's the most fucked up thing. Yeah, 100%. There is another aspect too that I always. It's funny, like sometimes I'll say things and be like, well, I can tell you're still kind of have a little bit in you, and because you're rationalizing a lot of things a lot. I'm like, first of all, let me make something very clear. If I had an atheist channel, it would be super obnoxious because I feel like most of y'all are like most of y'all are like, you know what you're trying to get out of it, and it's hey, let's pull the blind off of as many people as possible, right? And the worst way to do that is to shit on them the whole show, right? You're not going to change their minds that way. But for me, I think because I'm so angry, I subconsciously, that I wasted 36 years of my life. I am just fine saying that I'm an anti-theist, right? If, again, going labels, I do believe, as I've talk about things and learn, and I've been deployed in Middle Eastern countries. And you take history classes and stuff.
I lived there for 2 years.
Really? Where'd you live?
Lived in Israel.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, the epicenter, right? Of religious bullshit. I do believe that religion is a net harm. However, while I believe that people like Joel Osteen, who's that, Kenneth Copeland, I really do believe that they're con men. Those are shills. I don't believe that every pastor is a shill. And those pastors, like my uncles of small churches that are not billionaires, that when they're teaching this stuff, it is angering, but it's like angering. I'm not angry at them. I'm like angry at the system that built them. And that could have been me easily. I've talked to Ree, and I've talked to my wife a lot. Sometimes I'm embarrassed, like literally embarrassed. It's embarrassing to say that the Trump era was like the break, because of where my fellow fundamental Christians went. That was like, I'm not going to follow you there. Like, what? That's gross. And then only then was I able to go, everything shatters else around me, because now I'm willing to like accept other information, right? And so now I look at those pastors telling their congregation, don't get the vaccine and God's going to protect you and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
and I wondered to myself, if Hillary had won, would I be an atheist leftist right now? Like because I didn't get like the mask off because I was so blind, you know what I mean? And it is funny because like I'm proud of my melanin, I'm proud of being brown, but one of the things that brown things say, especially towards white liberals, is when white liberals see things like George Floyd, and they go, "Whoa, white cops are a problem," and then black people are like, "Where the fuck have you been?" Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You're not,
this
here
is new to you.
police. Yeah, this is not fucking new, right? And so I hear that, right, amongst my fellow black and brown people, but I'm in the middle of like them, like, where the fuck have you been, white people? And I'm like, like I was an idiot. I was blind to this stuff too. And so there's a small bit of compassion, hesitancy to be angry at those pastors, because I could have easily have been that as well, with just a few different, timeline changes.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you wanted to be at one point, right? So you could have been right up there, saying the exact same thing. But that still does not, in my mind, that doesn't negate the fact that we still have to be harsh on people like that, because they are literally harming people by 100%. Saying this crap, right?
That's right. That's right. So, and all you got to do at that point is, you're absolutely right. And I think, to use the analogy, which I do often, especially like on my TikTok, is the analogy I like to use is an abusive relationship, right? And I imagine a dude or whatever. I imagine a member of the relationship who is so mentally broken, right? So like maybe they have their own trauma, maybe they have their own PTSD or of whatever, right? That they think that their level of abuse, the abuse that they're dishing out, is literally what's best, right? And so there is no sort of leeway given to that abuser, nor should there be, right? Like to go, I know that person's a complete piece of shit abuser to their significant other, but they believe what they're doing is right. So, no one does that, right? And so I think pastors deserve the same thing. Like, yeah, you are blind to it, but that's not an excuse. You're also creating so much fucking harm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, causing a big issue. I've got an anti-vaxxer in my family, so
that sucks.
Oh, dude, it's and I'm like, I'm a fucking scientist. You know, I know this kind of shit.
Sure.
Like, why aren't you taking my word for it?
That's it.
You're taking some fucking con man asshat's word for it.
I was just talking to my mom about that. Like, I'm not a scientist, but my mom was talking about, like, because, you know, she knows my political leanings. We're all like, everything's out now, and now we just kind of like avoid talking points and we'll kind of go towards them, but then like, all right, we're kind of getting angry, so we'll just avoid it, right? Which I won't do with anybody else, but my parents are a special case. I get it. But one of the things I told them, she was like, I don't know. I think the left has lost their mind. It's just not right. It's not right. They're like anti-white. They're anti-white. I'm like, what do you mean they're anti-white? Yeah. And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, I was watching this video the other day on Facebook.
YouTube University.
Yeah, no, this is Facebook, so even worse, right? And she goes, and there was these black girls making these white people kiss their feet, and the white people were saying, I'm sorry, kissing the feet. I'm sorry, kissing the feet. And I'm like, Mom, Mother,
probably staged.
Is your son a leftist? Does your son throw around the word socialist? Like, why wouldn't you just ask me if that's something? Is that a real thing? You know what I mean? Like why wouldn't you just say, like, you know, why wouldn't you talk to me and I could give you some insight on what we believe? And I mean, Sean Hannity is more reliable, I guess. So sometimes that is sad.
Sean Hannity.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. Facebook is pretty fucking toxic when it comes to information, but you know, they kind of, they're trying to combat it. They'll say, you know, they'll cover up these things and say this may be false information. So they're trying to help combat that, but people still just click that away and go, no, it's not. Then they, you know,
that's right.
They love their fake news.
100%. There was a tweet I saw today. I can't remember by who, but you know, blue check person. It was like, listen, please, I'm begging you, go talk to your doctor. If you don't trust media, that makes sense. If you don't trust random people on the internet, that makes sense. Can you please just go talk to your doctor? Like imploring people, talk to your doctor. Well, here's the problem with that. Chiropractors literally are calling themselves doctors and saying, don't go take the vaccine. Naturopaths call themselves doctors. So when you have that, when you are so programmed and you are just looking for confirmation bias, even begging people to say, go talk to a doctor. I have a troop right now because the military is mandatory and there's a lot of the military losing their fucking mind, where my troop is trying to get a religious exemption for it. Of course, I tell them and I say, okay, do
religious exemption,
right? Yeah, you have to get there's either a medical exemption and a religious exemption.
What the fuck about religion could exempt you from getting a vaccination?
So there are denominations out there. There are sects of Christianity that
there's 30,000 plus of them.
Right, exactly, right. That do say that that teach that medical intervention is wrong, right?
Yeah, like Jehovah's Witnesses do.
Right, and so if you have that, there are people who are exempt due to religious freedom or whatever, which I don't agree with, especially for a public health situation. Yep. But at least there's some precedence. I can go, okay, so those people are 0.00001% of the population. If everybody else gets vaccinated, fine. The crazies don't have to. Herd immunity is going to help them out. But I asked them, I'm like, so, okay, there is a religious exemption. Here's the form. Here's the memo you have to do and all that. And did you take all the other vaccines? I know he did because he wouldn't be in the Air Force if he didn't. And right. I'm like, he's like, well, yeah. I'm like, so you're saying that your religion allowed you to take all the other vaccines but this one? He's like, yes. I'm like, here's the paper.
Bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, here you go. I'm like, good luck, I guess.
I've got the inoculation mark on my arm from being a kid, but so I don't get polio and smallpox and rubella and all that other shit.
My wife was born in Panama, so she has smallpox. So yeah.
they make such a big stink out of it because, oh, well, they're going to force our kids in school to get it. It's like, well, hello, they weren't allowed in school if they weren't initially inoculated too,
Yeah, that yellow vaccine card. You had to fill it out. Your doctor had to fill it out. Like, when is any school you didn't have to need a vaccine? It's ridiculous.
It's dumb. It's dumb. It's I don't know. These people are sharp like marbles.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't even a coins and we both drank. Oh well. But,
yeah, it's I should be okay. Water since there's no coins, but that's all right.
Yeah, there we go. Just in case.
Coins, you said?
We're covered, man. We got everything here. All right, so I want to get on to how you started the I Freaking Love Comics channel and the folks that are involved with you there. So let's talk a little bit about that. How did that start up?
Yeah. So so off the bat, IFLC, I Freaking Love Comics is owned by 3 people, 33.33 repeating across the board, by myself, Judah Rad, and Respawn, who is in the chat right now.
That's such a great fucking name too. Respawn.
I said that, like, we're all thinking of names. I like Dr. Strange, and Robo is my military nickname anyway, and I'm like, Robo Strange. Okay, yep. Yeah, sure, why not? And then Judah Rad, Norn Rad, his favorite character is Silver Surfer. Cool, yeah, that works too.
Okay.
But Respawn, Spawn, obviously because of the character, but she also plays video games. Respawn, I'm like,
it's genius.
Bitch, like, that is a good one. Can I get a redo? And then it was
RHI do redo.
Yeah, and then yeah. Perfect. But yeah, so it started. So I'm the filthy casual of the group, right? And the reason why is I
filthy casual.
I read comics through my teen years. I had an uncle who got me into comic books. He wouldn't let me touch any of them until I hit 200. And then I got 200 comic books, and he's like, all right, I'll let you read them, but I got to hold them until you get to 400. So then I got to 400 comic books.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And special velvet gloves he could
wear, and he was the original gatekeeper. So and so, yeah, finally he let me, and then I got my own comics and stuff like that. At 19, I would join the Air Force, and me being the sentimental guy that I am, I go, you know what? It's time for me to leave comic books behind. And I give them to my little brother, who's 9 years younger than me. So what does that make him? 9 till 10, right? And he's 10 years old. I give it to him. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, they're yours. And take care of them. And I collect and I tell him a story about my Uncle Ben. And I go off, and I'm basic training. I finished basic training. I go into the next school, the tech school, for my specialty, and my mom calls me, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up?"
No.
And she's crying, literally crying. I'm like, "Please don't be mad." I'm like, "Oh my God, did someone die?" Like, I'm like, "Can you just tell me what happened?" Your brother sold the comics, and I'm like, "Oh," I'm getting all teary-eyed. I'm like, "Oh, no. For $40.
What?
$40 fucking dollars. My brother is 30 years old today. I am still mad at him. Like, this will come up, and I love my brother to death, but when this comes up, you can hear it in my voice that it's not like a remember when you saw my comment? Like, when I tell a story, I'm like, he looks at me, he's like, are you for real still mad about that? I'm like, fuck yes, man. Yes. This is 22 years later, and I am still fucking mad.
Imagine what some of those comics might have been worth now.
I'm telling you. Okay, so I keep up with comic books. I love the Raimi Spider-Man, and I love the MCU. And because of the MCU, I'm like Googling. So I'm not collecting at this time. I'm not reading all through the 2000s. But I'm like Googling, and I'm keeping up, and I'm like,
yeah, me too.
Yeah, you know how it is. And so Judah used to work for me, so we had like a strict military is pretty strict about this kind of stuff. We joke around and stuff like that, but When I moved to a different section, I wasn't his boss anymore, and we started bullshitting a lot more. And then he's like, and then I find out that he likes comics. Like, oh, you like comics? And I'm like, I like comics too. I had no idea the level that he liked comic books. I thought he liked comic books. And then one day I went over to his house to drink, and like he has this room, and it's like wall to wall shelves, comic books. Like, oh, wow. And I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, you like comics? Oh, okay. And
I thought I was the comic lover with like 25 fucking long boxes full of them.
I'm telling you, is Miracle Man still in the deal? Miracle Man has a house, multiple rooms in his house full of stacked long boxes and shelves with comics.
Open a fucking comic book shop already.
Right. Miracle Man, open up a comic book shop, make some money. But we started talking, and I'm like, wow, this is awesome. Like, I want to start getting back into comics, so I get Marvel Unlimited. I started reading comic books again. And then he says, hey, I started a Facebook group. Facebook group was called I Freaking Love Marvel Comics. And so I join it, and there's, a few hundred people in there. This is good. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I said, what if you like had multiple ones? Like, you just, he's mainly a Marvel guy, reads a lot of Marvel. So that was what he was comfortable starting. He didn't want to start anything else because he didn't really read DC or indie comics.
What? But Batman and shit, man.
Yeah, we know that stuff, but Marvel is where it's at. It's better than DC anyway. But no, I'm just kidding. But he's like, yeah. It's the same as me. But I go, my wheels start turning, right? And I'm like, bro, what if you start like a overall page, call it whatever, and then have these different Facebook groups under it? Like, we can grow this whole thing. And the way I was thinking of, there was this other like I can't remember what it's called now, but it's like the Chive or something, and they had like these groups, and then there was like subgroups to it. And I was thinking about that model, and so we started the Facebook page, I Freaking Love Comics, so that we can nest these Facebook groups underneath it. And then as those started growing, I'm like, oh man, like I told him, I said, do you want to do like a podcast? And he's like, yeah, let's try it. And the first one was, we still have the video. Maybe one day we'll put it out, but it's
not so good.
So bad. It's so bad. Because we wanted to do like, hey, you know how they do drunk history? And we do drunk history. And I'm like, let's do drunk comic books. And he's like, that sounds awesome. Well, here's what we didn't factor in. You know how like when you're really, 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 really fucking good at something, just because you're drunk, you don't like stop being good at it. Like, you're just drunk, but you're still good at what you do, right? Like you're
sure.
You're doing a thing. What we're not factoring into drunk history is that although they may or may not be, but let's go ahead and just say they are drunk. They're still professional actors. They're still professional performers, And so we are not. And the video the next day, and like, hey, fucking Silver Surfer is fucking cool. It's like, and we're like watching it, like, oh, cringe. This is cringe. This is bad. No one could ever see this. And then we kept doing some recordings. Respawn would join us on Black Monday Murders. We kept like having people invite because we figured, I feel like something's missing. Let's get 3 people on here. Respawn would join us for Black Monday Murders, a podcast, not a YouTube. It is. We put it on YouTube, but we did like some images over it because it was podcast audio only. And we just kept going from there. I'm still the Filthy Casual, where Miracle Man and Judah and Ree will talk about comic books and who wrote what and what came out in 98 and 2007. I'm usually the one like, oh, cool. I got my little collection here. I got my little thing starting over here, and I'm surrounded by comic books that when I have enough time, I'll read one day. But
well, like the only thing really I have that's comic book related still to these days is that I showed you before we went live is the original drawing. My boss at work's uncle works in the art department for the X-Men movies here in Vancouver, and this is an original concept costume idea for Storm from the X-Men. So
yeah,
he gave that to me for my birthday. Yeah,
you need to frame that. That is so awesome.
Yeah, it's on a nice piece of that cardboardy kind of stuff there, and it's sealed up, wrapped in plastic. So
That's
I will get it framed eventually. I got a bunch of shit I got to get framed because I have buddies that are artists, and I got to get stuff framed.
Yep.
Yeah, Mikey, I think you should jump in here with us because his background is going to crack you up.
Best interview ever.
Awesome. Mylene, my wife in the chat, she is the biggest fan. Like there'll be like some obscure, like somebody from another cartoon will say like blah 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 blah, and then she'll laugh at it, and I'm like,
the hell?
Was there a joke? I'm like, oh no, that's from Simpsons. They're doing a Simpsons reference. I'm like, what? How do you know that? Like that's not. All I know is dope.
Funny enough, I was telling my wife, I was like, I've been on a real Fall Out Boy kick. And then she was like, what's up with that name, Fall Out Boy? I was like, you don't know how they get their name? If anybody remembers Bartman, who was Bart's alter ego when he was a superhero, and Milhouse's best friend was also a superhero with him, and his name was Fall Out Boy. You know, like a little nuclear symbol on his chest. And that's...
I'm nodding my head. Look, so I'm doing this, right? I'm like,
mm-hmm.
And it seems like I'm going, yup, that's right. I'm literally just learning this right now. Like,
yeah, that's because they were at a show. They had some stupid ass name, some very 2003 name, and like Hawthorne Heights or something stupid. And they're like, all right, guys, we're gonna change your name. What should we name it? Someone's like, Fall Out Boy, and they're like, okay, that's kind of weird, but cool, but yeah.
And stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, and so like no one ever puts together this ain't a scene with fucking The Simpsons. Like that's just not put together. So I have a couple questions. I jotted down here on my little pad of paper. Who's your favorite from Marvel?
Favorite from Marvel has to be Thor. It's gonna be Thor just because Jason Aaron's Thor was so fucking like in that. I told you I came back to comics. That was like the first run I read, and I just couldn't put it down. It was
okay. So who's your favorite from DC?
Favorite from DC.
He's gonna regret this, Neil.
Favorite from DC. God, this is such a bad answer. God, DC lovers would hate me, but
he's gonna say Batman.
No. I think Batman's overrated. But however,
no, he's gonna say Superman.
Injustice. Like Batman who has to go against evil Superman, like what he did. He was more like Sherlock Holmesy, and he had to always be like 3 steps ahead. That I really love that Batman. So Injustice is Batman.
So
Injustice, they just released that, by the way. The animated version.
Yeah. I haven't watched it yet.
HBO Max is the shit.
Hell.
So because you picked those two, who wins in a fight?
Thor, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Sorry, bats getting fucking twerked.
Hey, and let me tell you something. Go ahead.
Give Batman enough prep time. He can take
down. Yeah. That's what everyone says. Give him 1,000 years to prep.
No, it doesn't need 1,000 years.
I really hate that whole Batman thing. I'm like, stop. Like, if you take the morality and then Injustice happens, then it doesn't go down the way that I say it does. But I'm like, destroy Earth though. Like,
yes.
Go to the moon and zap you from like.
I like Batman. I just know that Thor is going to totally break all his human bones.
All other answers are wrong. That's good right there. What makes Batman so cool is he's just a regular Joe. He just happens to have billions of dollars that he can throw around and be a superhero.
Yeah,
that's not regular Joe, then, is it, Neil?
I meant like a human, average human, non-superpowered. That's what I meant.
He's a ninja.
Well, yeah, that's true.
He's a friggin' ninja with fucking gadgets.
I'm sorry, but I loved his team up with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was fucking awesome.
I did not read that. One thing I wrote down here is because you were talking about like how you felt like 36 years were wasted and you were like feeling angry about it. Do you know what FOMO is? Like the fear of missing out. Is that? Do you think that kind of aligns with it? Because I know for me, I wasn't like super religious. I had to go to church, and like my dad's a pastor, and my stepdad was a pastor, and they played in the band and did all that stuff. My mom did like the overhead projector joint. My mom would like change the slides, and like
I was in the choir. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, so like I was like, I'm here because I have to be here. And as soon as I figured out if I got a job and I had to work on Sundays, I didn't have to go. I was like, oh, this is fucking lit. Fuck going to church. This shit sucks. I'm about to get paid in ice cream scoops at Baskin Robbins.
Nice.
Yeah, I had FOMO probably more when I was a kid. So remember when I said I was in that weirdo church at first, and so the weirdo church kept all like Jewish rules. So like we couldn't eat kosher, and we couldn't do shit from sunset on Friday to sunset on Saturday because we kept the Sabbath. And so and we didn't celebrate Christmas. So Saturday nope. Couldn't do that. Watching TV wasn't allowed. Playing outside on Friday nights and all day Saturday. Couldn't play with my friends. Had no Christmas, stuff like that. As an adult, I wouldn't say when I say I wasted a lot of my time. I don't think I would have done anything different because even as an adult, I wasn't the best Christian. So it wasn't like there was things that I shouldn't have been doing, like shouldn't air quotes, and for just so for Christian stuff. Excuse me. But it was more of like the emotional waste that I had, the guilt, the amount of guilt I would carry, where I think a normal thing to do is fuck up, learn from it, press, right? Versus fuck up and wonder the stain that is on your soul and the, you know what I mean? It's like, my Lord in heaven. And it's like, and it's like, how much?
By the way, I know all about guilt. I had a Jewish mother.
Yeah. Judah Rad is also Jewish, but he's culturally Jewish. Like did the whole thing, with the, what is it, Bar Mitzvah or something like that. But
yeah, I did too.
Never like believed God was real or anything. So yeah, it's interesting.
You know what? Most Jews are fairly secular these days.
Yeah, that's what he says. Yep, that's right.
Oh wait a minute, I'm being called out. And then what was this? Oh, and I appreciate your you punctuating your verbal sentences.
However, comma.
Yeah.
Wakanda forever. Yeah.
Yes, that's dope.
Wakanda forever. That was a sad day for me. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to know, have you seen the What If series?
Yeah, 100%.
Holy fuck.
Oh, I finished it, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah.
So you saw Ultron with the Infinity Stones? By the way, they fucked up. Yeah, sorry if you haven't seen it. Sorry, but you know that he's got them from the Thor episode forward. He walks right into the Thor episode.
That's so
right. They broke a rule. The Infinity Stones were designed to only work in the universe that they were formed in. So when he started multiverse hopping, they should not have worked.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw the Warlock series. I don't know if you ever saw the Warlock and the Infinity Stone series and stuff like that. He can do some voices. Do your meat wad.
Oh, hold on. I got to switch it. I just did this one. Glaive, and I have to, where's the button here? Are you talking about me, Rod? What's up, man? Robo Strange.
Yeah. CBN Olliman says put up a sign when the spoilers are over because they're muted.
You're good, Ollie. You're good.
All right. So really about the end of it. No. When Captain America saves everybody.
Yeah. Can you believe that they came into the main MCU? They ended the show with everybody going to the main MCU. That's crazy. Yeah.
And I
love that.
The Flash. I can't believe the Flash is the one who defeated Thanos in the end.
They're not that.
The Flash.
We gotta tell them, like, hey, Olliman, you're good. You can come back over.
Actually, what I was watching, what was that? For some reason, I started watching it, and I kind of, once I start watching something, I follow along with it. That Star Girl that they got on there, the CW show. And they got the guy that plays Flash on the Flash, not the Flash, but Garrick or whatever. The guy that plays Garrick on the Flash is also playing him on the
Yeah, with the Infinite Crisis thing or whatever it's called was
yeah. They all melded into one.
Universe that was super dope. That was actually what I was hoping. That's what I am hoping happens with the MCU. Like, so I know we're gonna get like.
Oh, wait till shit happens, man!
Have you seen Venom?
I have not seen the second Venom yet.
Okay, so I won't spoil anything. But you know the rumors between like Sam Raimi and the other Sony Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, and stuff like that. Like, I think it's obvious it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, right? There's just rumors, and then what's his face? Garfield the same, playing dumb. But I'm like, Naruto, dope. But I think it's obvious. But what I'm hoping with this whole multiverse thing, what I think would be super fucking dope, is to have a comic, like an actual 616 like comic book series go, right? Let's say Thor, and then it lead up to something, right? It's something big, like there's this big like cliffhanger, and it matches up with the movie, and they don't put out an issue for like 1 month, and everybody's like, what happens? Like, why didn't they put out an issue? And that 616 Thor is in the movie because of some multiverse change. And then whatever happens in the movie, and then the next issue, and then obviously not permanently, that person goes back, and the next issue that happens in Thor is references what happened to him in the movie. That's what I really want. I want that connection. I want.
Well, you never know.
My wildest dream is for there to be like, you remember that video game like Marvel Ultimate Alliance?
On the game, on the you're not talking about the mobile game, are you?
I don't think it's a mobile. It might be a mobile game, but it was like you could have like Wolverine, fucking Thor, Hulk. Like it had every.
It's on the Nintendo Switch right now. Yeah,
it's older. Like I even played it back on like GameCube back in the day. But it's like a recurring series of games where it's like everyone from Marvel. I just really want like an X-Men Avengers movie.
That would be dope.
But I'll never get it.
X-Men versus Avengers. You don't think X-Men are coming?
No.
X-Men are coming. They are coming.
There's too much.
We already know that.
Not because of any clues or anything, but because
they bought it.
There's too much money there. There's no way they're gonna let that much money sit. They're coming.
I will definitely be fucking comic book by fucking first row. Fucking just waiting. I'll be first one in line to buy tickets. Excuse me, small children. Fucking, I'm pushing all little kids out of the way to buy my picture.
Yeah. No,
just trounce on them.
So we interviewed on our channel. We interviewed Tom Brevoort, and so I get it. They are different, but the fact of the matter is that money talks. Money talks. Disney owns them all. X-Men Avengers laughs and jokes, and let's be.
I'm liking Ree more and more now.
Yeah.
Yes. That's all I had.
Disney owns them all, and money talks. Money talks. They can do
it. And X said the X-Men X, because he's the leader of the X-Men.
Professor X. It all makes sense.
Yeah,
for sure.
All makes sense now. You could have told us.
All these, you can tell all he's getting stoned because he doesn't drink, so he does the smoking weed when they hit the coins, and he always can tell he's getting stoned because he just starts fucking everything up.
OINSC. I don't know what that means.
You can't spell coins.
It's coins, but
got it.
B was texting me just so that there could be some extra coins.
Nice.
Yeah, once they figured out how to work the system, they just keep texting Neil during the show so that his phone will go off so they can get higher. What's the
lowest you can do super chat? Can you do like 50 cents or something? 25 cents?
I think it's 99 cents.
Oh, is it 99? Yeah. That would be a good one. Like 99 cents, and you have to take a shot, like a whole ass shot, not like a sip of your drink. That might make you some money.
That is a sip of my drink. It is a shot.
Oh, okay. I did a stream on my Twitch. I was playing Dead by Daylight. Respawn actually gave me this idea. And they were like, "Hey, you know we should." So I played Dead by Daylight. I don't know if y'all play at all, but I won't get too into it. But there's a function where you're a killer and you're playing against 4 survivors, and that's the match, right? And you try to survive or kill each other. And in one of the things that the survivor can do is throw a pallet down and stun you. That's one of the defense mechanisms they can do in this game. So Ree says, hey, you should play killer and take a shot every time a survivor stuns you with a pallet. And I'm like, I'm all right at the game. Like, I'm not going to get stunned that much. The VOD is up on Twitch. It is actually embarrassing how fucking wasted I got. I got so wasted, if you look at the end times, that I am now 100% convinced that anybody else who does this they're lying. There's water in there or they're fake drinking or something, because my buddy talked to me. He's like, bro, I saw you at the end and I was actually worried for you. And I was like, I thought you did like everybody else did, was like faking it.
Did he pray for you?
Yeah, he prayed and Lord allowed me to wake up the next day. And but no, I mean, like there were times where it was actually, I'm not even kidding, it was kind of embarrassing. I was like, all right, oh yeah, I got it, yeah. And then I sit down. Yeah, okay, let's keep playing, guys. Come on, they got this. And I'm like,
I have since learned my lesson when it comes to drinking for specific reasons, because I live in Chicago and the Blackhawks were in the playoffs, and we were doing Jaeger bombs for every goal and then misery bombs every time the other team scored. And I was like, well, it's hockey. It wasn't going to be like fucking 3-2. I can do 5 in 2 hours. Like, that's not going to. The score was 7-5.
Yeah.
we were all throwing up and fucking, like, it was just bad.
You're probably safer watching soccer, just so you know.
Oh, that was such a mistake. Such a mistake.
Yes. Yeah. That sounds. You're not even talking about this drug. You're talking about Jaeger bombs. You're talking about the whole shebang. Like,
and we didn't even have proper Red Bull. You know, we had like the Aldi's Red Bull.
Oh God.
So, I mean, after the first 3, I don't really remember a whole lot. I just remember us all throwing up.
Yeah, that's right. That's the good thing about alcohol poisoning. You don't remember the suffering so much because you're on your way to dying, and so your body shuts off.
My body's shutting down, so I don't really have to worry about the memories.
Silver lining. I mean, this is silver lining. Yeah.
Oh,
hockey joke. You really pucked up, Mike.
You really fucked up there.
Look, you already won the internet today. Can you calm down, Ree? Can you calm down?
Kind of liking Ree. I'm kind of hoping Ree and we'll jump in the after party with us.
Ree. They might be. What day is it? Yeah, they might be at work. I think they might be talking to us in their hockey puck. Is Miracle Man still in here? Miracle Man, Ree, you guys want to jump into the after party?
They're at work? Ree's at work right now?
Ree might be at work.
I command it.
Sorry, I'm super lit right now. I will be there. They're not at work. Okay.
Oh.
I'm all inviting people that are not my show.
No.
Fine by me.
It's the watering hole. It's where all the atheists come, drink a baby or two, and we just move on with it. We have a great time.
How do you think we haven't got COVID by now?
That's right. Babies. It's all the babies.
That and the horse dewormer.
That's right. Fetus juice and horse dewormer.
Fetus juice. Fresh these fetuses. All right. Some Christian's gonna find this one day and go, oh my God.
I knew it. I knew it. They're just so brazen about it. And they just laugh.
That's right.
Yeah, well, we got more stuff we could talk about, but let's do that in the after party because we've gone past the hour. So, Robo, man, it was awesome having you in here, dude.
Yeah, it was awesome being here. Thank you guys. Yeah.
No need to be nervous. You did splendidly.
You did.
Yeah, I have control issues. I'm like, I'm not running the show.
That's okay. You made it through.
Awesome.
Now we're gonna do an after party. To be fair, I don't know if you guys watch Letterkenny, but that's a funny fucking show. But anyway,
you and your damn Letterkenny.
It's funny.
He loves
Letterkenny. I've actually heard about that.
Oh, it's great. They did the thing. Someone one time they said, "Oh, to be fair," and they go, and they think that's kind of a hoity-toity expression. So they go, "Oh, to be fair." So, well, thanks for the summary. Okay, we're gonna get into an after party. If you guys want to get involved, You can hit me up or Mikey up through one of the platforms there, like the Facebooks or the Twitters or whatever. Just send us a message. We'll give you a link. You can jump in here with us. Thank you, Malin. Thank you, Ree. Both of you two for enjoying the show. I hope you guys liked it, and thank you for subbing. I appreciate that very much. I'm almost at 2,400 subs now, so getting there.
Goals right there. That's dope.
Ballin'.
Right. Yeah, link is in the description box down below if you just want to hang out in the chat and be goofy and listen to us talk more about pop culture-y kind of shit, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
And also, hello, Tons of Mice, who's on break at work.
Oh, hi, Tons of Mice.
The best of
mice. Sin. That's all we want to do. Tons of Mice is sin. Tons of Mice is hysterical, by the way. If you're unfamiliar with the way of the Tons.
Is that a channel? Do they have a channel, Tons of Mice?
Nope, they're just a joker.
Okay. All right.
Just a joker in the chat.
It is rib-shatteringly funny shit when you least expect it, but always on time. It's just so good. It's so
very funny. It's like they were born. Oh, thank you, Ree. It's like they were born to do it or something. One there from Ree. Thank you very much for that.
Ree is the best.
Actually, Ree put in the extra penny this time.
99 cents. What is that? No, we're doing a whole dollar. We're starting today.
I actually have a penny around here if you want it back, Ree. Just
a Canadian penny? Are you
kidding
me right now?
We don't even have pennies anymore. They got rid of them here.
I heard.
What?
All gone.
Yeah.
No more pennies.
So what if you have like a bag full of them? Are you like now
take them to the bank? Actually, the bank won't even take them back. I've got like jars full of them, and they're in storage. So I'm stuck with them. And one day I'll pull them out. When
the banks won't even receive them. You can't get them.
No, they won't even take them anymore.
Oh no, that's kind of crappy.
No one wants your
phase out program or something.
No one wants your filth metal. Keep it.
Yeah.
One
penny, one Australian penny is actually about 5 million Canadian. So
yeah, probably somewhere in there.
Yeah.
If you get 5 million of those, Neil, good news for you. Good news for you.
Yeah.
I can quit my job. No. Anywho. All right, guys, we're going to get into the after party. So, like I said, if you want to be involved, let us know. Thanks to everyone in the chats on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And also thanks to my amazing patrons. I've passed 20 patrons, if you can believe that. I actually have them in the ticker tape. Mike, if you want to scroll that ticker tape down there.
I got it.
All you guys, you're all on the ticker tape now. We can show off who's become a patron for me. I appreciate all you guys. The show's nothing without you, so thank you all for what you do for the show. It does help, and it keeps me going, honestly. All right. Everyone's texting me for coins. That's what's going on.
All right. Calm down, you losers.
Don't forget that Randolph and I are starting up our own call-in show coming up pretty soon called True North Talk. If you want to learn more about the show, you can head over to www.truenorthtalk.ca. It'll give you all the information there, and it'll link you right to the YouTube channel so you don't miss our launch date. Also, I'm one of the co-hosts, along with this fella right here has been involved with us. X in the chat's been involved with us, and there's been lots of other amazing folks involved with the new revamp, relaunch Nonprofits, which is an ACA product that runs at 3 p.m. Central between Talk Heathen and the Atheist Experience, and I'm pretty sure you're familiar with those two. Also, the last Saturday of every month, except we did it mid-Saturday because we kind of just got back into it. We took a bit of a hiatus, but I think we're doing another one at the end of October, and it's so-called Atheist Drinking Out Loud, where myself and Andy and Seamus from the Free Thought Prophets, and Andy does his own channel called Laughing in Disbelief. He's an atheist comedian. Head over to sub to his channel. You won't miss it when we go live last Saturday of every month at 2 p.m. Pacific time, where we just literally poke fun at fucking everything. So it's a good time. Have a couple of drinks and hang out in the chat and make fun of us, because we look forward to that. All right, guys, like I always say at the end of the show, like the late, great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we'll see you guys next time. And thanks to Robo for being my guest today. See you guys.